All right. Hi, Annie. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Belinda?
I'm well. I'm glad we finally get to connect.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I'm going to start with your bio, and I'm just going to read it. All right. So, Annie, first of all, I'm here with Annie Lieberman, founder of Everyone Can Sing. Annie started singing when she was 4 years old and knew that that was what she wanted to do with her life. She followed her passions and found herself singing at numerous events, recording studios, and record labels. She also knew that teaching would be in her future. Years later, she put both talents together and opened her studio, calling it Everyone Can Sing, because she truly believes everyone starts singing as children, and somewhere along in life, we just lose it. Annie specializes in a specific singing method called Werbeck. This method taught her how to care for her voice and sing without strain. It's actually changed the physiology of her body. She's eager to help others on their journey using the Werbeck method. All right, Annie, I'm intrigued by the fact that the Werbeck method actually changed the physiology of your body. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. So, when I started singing professionally, I was focusing on genres such as rock, blues, and pop. And some of those particular genres, and classical too, those particular genres have a way of wearing down the vocal cords, and I found myself not too long ago struggling to keep my voice healthy. And there came a point in time where I had blew out my cords to such a degree that my notes, my higher notes, were not really usable, and I was really, really concerned. So I started seeking out traditional methods. I went to a voice doctor to get a scoping done to see if there were nodules developing and the whole bit. And um, they gave me prescription drugs to alleviate some of the swelling or the inflammation. And that to me was not the route I wanted to take. So, inside of this time, I discovered a method called Werbeck. And Werbeck came out of Europe. It was collaborated with a woman by the name of Werbeck and Rudolf Steiner. And in doing this type of work and out of their methods, my voice started to heal. And so the physiology of this particular method is so gentle that it addressed the swelling and the inflammation immediately because I didn't stop singing. If anything, I took a break from the rock and roll and the blues that I was doing to concentrate on giving my voice time to heal. So, in doing that, I still continued with this Verbeck method, which is very gentle. I call it vocal yoga. So, to address the
Yeah.
inflammation, and I started to learn skills that I didn't think I needed to learn, which was um, my ears developed in such a way that I could hear my voice at a very, very deep level and able to adjust in such a way that when I did go into recording studios and record in my voice, something adjusted in so much that I became a better singer because of this method. It gave me the ability to really hear my tones, and when they weren't warm enough or they were too high in pitch at times, or the EQ, I always think of it as an EQ, that in the recording process I was able to EQ my voice in such a way that it warmed it up to have a better quality when I went to record. So physiologically speaking, something happened inside my actual um, my inner world of my ears and my resonators. Everything just really became very warm. There was a warming that happened. And in Verbeck, I should say that through time, because it takes time to develop the skills of learning how to take this method and create um, a sound that is very different. So, for instance, the woman that I saw demonstrating Werbeck for the first time, she was a classical singer, and when she sang, it didn't just come out of her mouth. Like when we sing, we think it's it comes, right out of our mouth. When she sang, I could hear the sound coming out of her ears and out of the top of her head. So it filled the room. Yes, it filled the room in such a way that it wasn't just coming from one direction. It was coming from her ears and the top of her head. And yes, it's so amazing to know that you actually, through this work, create the sound to come out of the gestation tubes in your ears. So it has the effect of that, and builds the sound around your body versus just coming unidirectional.
You are blowing me away with that description. That's amazing. I mean, I've never imagined that any kind of singing could have that effect. So that's the type of singing that you teach. When people come to you for singing lessons, that is the way that you teach.
Yes.
Wow. So cool. And I know that our mutual friend Tess has been doing work with you, and she consistently tells me how she feels just everything draining when she sings. It clears things in your body. And so it's literally a healing method.
Yes.
Right? And is it just sort of like overall healing? Because, healing you think is always kind of like targeted, but the voice healing is something bigger, broader. Can you say anything about that?
Yes, absolutely. So I think when we think of singing, we think of the voice, or we think of these reality TV shows, and they're so prevalent for so many years now that I think most people say, "Oh, I can't sing," because they compare themselves to these shows. And if you don't have a voice like a Mariah Carey or any one of the, Beyonce, it's like, I can't sing. And that is so, so far from the truth. So, yes, what I believe singing is in general is it's necessary because it creates healing in the body. And when we're young, I mean, think about kids. They have no filter. Little kids have no filter. They just sing, they dance, and that's who we really are. And
Yeah.
somewhere along the line, a teacher or a parent or a big sister said, "Will you just be quiet? Because, like, you're killing me here," right? And it's really the energy that they're addressing. I don't think a parent or a teacher really wants to shut a person down for the rest of their life.
Right.
But many of the adults that come in here, I am working through trauma,
Yeah.
through somebody saying, you really can't sing, don't quit your day job. And it's really
Like a
damaging.
flippant remark as a joke, right?
Yeah, but when we're vulnerable, because singing, you're open, you're vulnerable. That's who you really are. It's your spirit really expressing itself. And then you have someone you trust or an authority figure say, that's not good enough. It does do something.
Or
So
I was just going to say, or even just as adults, because along the way we've lost our singing, that we then, once our children become a little bit older, we stop singing to them because we're embarrassed.
yeah, yeah. And that happens everywhere, all the time. It doesn't matter what culture even. I'm talking to so many people. So I feel like my personal vision is to create a world where people understand the importance of singing and that they continue to sing to themselves, for their kids. And singing really is a healing method at the same time. So to bring our friend Tess back into the mix, you know, when we first started working together, Werbeck is this method is at a starting point a detoxifier, because when she started, her passages, they were draining her nose, her eyes, everything was draining.
Yeah.
And yawning is a big part of the process too, because yawning opens up the throat. Yawning relaxes even the shoulders. When you're so relaxed that you're yawning, you know, it's important to let that stress go. And as a singer, when I sing through a stressful, stressful energy or anything that I'm not relaxed, it gives this my vocal cords have to work even harder to express themselves. But when we're relaxed, because our vocal cords are muscle, they're muscle as well. So when that's relaxed, then the singing can come naturally and it's not forced. And so I use a lot of these opening types of methods to create yawning, to create, this release of toxins. Because what's happening is it's releasing toxins. Now I'll tell you, I don't know if Tess told you this, but she had surgery on her top lip when she was very little.
Mm-hmm.
So the use of her top lip, she hasn't used for many years. And we started Werbeck, and she says, "Oh my God, there's all this tingling on my lip. I haven't felt anything on my lip for years." I said, "Yeah, this is working." And sure enough, now she can lift her lip in a way that she's never been able to in many, many years.
That is incredible. And on top of that, now that I'm thinking about it, singing is probably just also shifting energies, right? And so, as human beings living in the way that we do now, we are bombarded with toxins all day long, right? Like environmental toxins, food toxins, what mental toxins. That, yes, the act of singing really releases all of that. And so, man, I would imagine that, like, as a health practice, we should be singing every day.
Yeah, yeah. And you can, because this method, if you allow even 10 minutes a day, you can see a significant shift in your voice, the quality of your voice, your mental health, um, joy. There's
Yeah.
joy that's underneath all of this.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I can attest to that. We're going through some tough times right now, right? And I sing every day as a teacher, and I am like so happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's something about singing that obviously brings joy. Anytime you're singing, even if it's terrible, like if it sounds terrible to yourself, it still brings you joy, because how can you not be happy when you're singing?
It's so true. So true. It's
Now, let me ask you this. So, we've been talking about the Werbeck method and its healing modalities. But if you were to not know the Werbeck method and you just sang, is that healing as well?
absolutely,
Is
absolutely.
everything a little?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a joyful noise, so to speak. But singing in general is something that I encourage. You don't have to take lessons to sing. I'm a music teacher and I teach kids from first grade all the way through high school. And especially the little ones, I'm not teaching them how to sing. They know how.
Yeah.
I'm just encouraging them.
Yes.
So, I bring my ukulele and we just have fun. And
So fun.
they're making so much creative types of, gestures during their singing and playful. And I just want everybody to feel that they can do that in their adulthood, to be playful again.
Right. And
And
that's where it really comes down to as
yes.
adults. We really forget how to play.
Yeah.
You have mentioned before that mothers should be singing to their babies when they're pregnant. Um, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Of course. Um, so my daughter's 16 now, and when I was pregnant, I did, a lot of those. There was some methods of classical music, put classical music on your belly and things like that. So I did a little bit of that too. But I was singing opera at the time. So I was an opera singer going after an opera career, and I was 5 months pregnant, and I was on stage in these little stages with my crew. And opera is very, it has such a, the volume and the notes are so high. So I'm a soprano, so I was singing the high C's, and I could feel my baby inside just like, oh, kicking and moving every time I would hit those notes. And I thought, oh no, am I hurting this little baby? Oh my gosh, I better just take a little break. So, so come to find that now my daughter's 16, classical music is her number one choice of music. And
Interesting.
it must be because of the exposure in vitro. It has to be because she chose that even when she was 7 years old. I was listening to all my blues and my stuff still. She chose that. So there's something influential from that level. But at the
Right.
same time, um, I know how important it is to sing to our babies because they feel everything you feel.
Mhm.
And when we're singing to them, there's a comfort that they feel as well. The vibrations. In Verbeck, we do a lot of humming. So at the very least, I would recommend pregnant moms and moms in general just hum to your babies because that vibration is a bonding. It's a bonding mechanism, and when we hum or when we sing, it gives our child the opportunity to feel secure and safe and held. Um, and I just know the power of humming. It's a very warming, built-in human mechanism that I think is underrated on some level. I know I hum to myself when I'm scared. Like if I'm driving and something, or I'm walking somewhere and I'm scared, I start humming. It's just an instinct.
Interesting.
Hmm.
And speaking
So
of instinctual, I now am recalling when my daughter was a baby, and I'm not really a singer. I don't sing that often, obviously, because I don't have the confidence. But when
yeah.
she would cry, right, I would sing to her because I think instinctually we know songs are soothing, right? So that's really interesting that I just remember that. Now let's talk about the qualitative benefits of singing because I know you have mentioned before confidence, that it's a confidence builder. And share a little bit more about that and
Sure.
every.
Sure. So yes, what I love working with the voice in general because using our voices powerfully is something that we need right now in general. Using our voices um, to express ourselves, using our voices to create change in our world. If that's an overall goal, right? So as far as confidence building, I use music and voice um, to create a it's a it's a tool for especially the young ones to to know that their voice matters by um, having them one by one come up to the front of the class and sing a song, you know, or as a group stand up together and sing, and then they feel like they're performing. And I got to tell you, the confidence that creates alone by just giving a little second grader a moment at the front of the classroom to sing whatever song they want. Wow. I mean, it's
Wow.
really amazing. And it's singing. It's not, like for instance, I have a second grade class, and I've been going there for quite some time now, like maybe the last 3 months or whatever. And it's a small group. And now they're to the point where they want to share a song. Because in the beginning they did not. They were so shy, right? And
Yeah.
now they can't wait till I get there so that they can sing a song in front of the whole class
So
and
cute.
share their voices. And I'm thinking, gosh, when these kids grow up, they're going to remember this moment and know that their voice mattered because they were safe and they
Yes.
felt heard and they felt seen. So that's something that I love that's happening in this little classroom. And then I have another student who's a paralegal and she's studying through college right now.
Mhm.
She's come to me to take singing lessons because she's always wanted to sing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But now, as a paralegal in training, she's told me that she outlasts all her class because she has developed the strength in her voice to
Wow.
outlast a lot of these. Yeah, outlast some of them are competitions even that she's,
Yeah.
and she's outlasted. They came in third place nationals.
Oh my gosh.
So
Incredible. Now
so
I'm like, maybe I should call my niece up and have her take lessons with you because she's on the debate team in high school. So then she can outlast, right?
there is something very powerful. I am not kidding. I am not kidding because it is, learning how to create endurance in your voice
Yeah.
is super important for those types of, careers. As a teacher, I know teachers lose their voice all the time
Yes,
because
that's
they're
true.
addressing, right? They have to speak every day in front of big classrooms or whatnot. So learning how to use your voice and take care of it is really important for those of us who use our voices all the time.
I know. I imagine that schools should be hiring you to give voice lessons to the teachers routinely.
I agree.
Not only is that like a sort of what do they call it in corporate world, like those like um, exercises,
Yeah.
confidence building exercises as well as sort of networking exercises,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's also it helps you be a better teacher in front of the classroom and be able to sustain yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
So endurance, confidence,
Mhm.
um, in general, learning how to use your voice powerfully, where that comes from in the body. It's all the way around. It's so important to learn how to use your voice.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I love that. I love this interview because it just makes sense and we never think about it. I don't, when you're talking about school, growing up, academics, what people are like, no one ever talks about singing. It's art, right? It's play. We hear about that all the time, but singing? Yes, please.
Yes, that's right. We must sing.
We
We must
must sing
sing.
and everyone can sing.
And everyone can sing.
All right, so your website is everyonecansing.la,
Correct. Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
that's where anybody can contact you, just send you an email, private sessions, group sessions, all of that.
Yes.
Cool. That's great. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting.
Thank you.
Now, do you have a little bit more time, like maybe 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
I would love for you to share that story that you told me about the woman who was walking in the woods and her daughter fell.
Okay.
Share that.
Okay. Wow. So, I was searching. I was searching for information on the voice online, and I discovered a woman by the name of Sherry Edwards. And Sherry Edwards is a scientist. Um, her story is really incredible, and I am now a believer. So, Sherry Edwards, many years ago, her daughter is in her 30s now, I believe. But when her daughter was very young, they were in the forest. They found a river, and it was away from the main highway. I don't know, maybe a mile or so. I don't know. It was deep in their hike. Her daughter decided to jump into the river, and as a result, she sliced her inner thigh because it had caught on a branch or something. And very scary moment. Sherry grabbed her daughter and started walking, running to the nearest highway because she was bleeding, and she was bleeding a lot. So Sherry is also, she's not just a scientist, but she has a unique way of using her voice, which she discovered for the first time that there was something really unique after this accident. So she took her daughter in her arms, carried her to the main highway. The whole time she instinctively knew she was going to sing to her to comfort her. And she hummed or sang to her the whole time. They got to the highway. Somebody found them. They got to an emergency room. The doctor at the emergency room said, "Wow, when did you have this? How long ago was this accident?" And she said, "Gosh, I don't know. It feels like over an hour or so. I don't know. I really don't know the details of the timing." But the doctor said, "What did you do?" He said to the mom. And she said, "What do you mean, what did I do?" He said, "Your daughter should have bled out, like really bled out, but the blood had coagulated. And what did you do? Did you give her something? What did you?" And Sherry was like, "I sang to her."
It still gives me chills. Amazing.
She said, I sang to her. And he says, "I don't understand, because it coagulated in such a manner that she's not bleeding out. And she should have lost a lot more blood than what, I see here." So that was a huge wake up call for Sherry to investigate what really happened that day. So this woman, she had done many tests on her voice, and she discovered she had the same hearing as a dolphin.
What?
Her physiology was very similar to that of a dolphin. So in my research of singing, if you can hear the note, you can sing it. And because her physiology was very similar to that of a dolphin, she could hear notes that I can't hear. Mm-hmm. And she sang that pitch to her daughter that day.
Oh my goodness.
And so her gifts, she's got an amazing gift. And Sherry is able to hear notes that can create a massive shift in another person's body, in her own body. So yeah, I'm a follower of her work because she has created a method by which you can actually heal yourself and others through sound. And
very cool.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah, because I was just going to ask, can you train yourself to hear as she does and sing that high, or?
Well, you have to have the mechanisms built in your body. So she does. I don't think I have that same physiology. I've trained myself to hear things that I didn't hear before. Mm-hmm. You can train yourself to hear.
Yeah.
And that's what Werbeck really is about, is training you how to hear.
Great.
And once you hear it, you can sing it.
I'm looking forward to that because I remember our first session, how I'm missing some of the chords. So when we start up again in summer, that's what I'll do.
Absolutely, Belinda, absolutely. Yeah, it's very true. Her story is the most incredible story I have ever heard.
It really blew me away. It blows me away. That story is just amazing, unbelievable, but just beautiful.
Mhm.
because I feel like we are now living in a time where the conventional is old
Yeah.
and every miracle is how it used to always be.
That's
So
great.
that's why we are doing what we're doing.
That's
And
right.
that's why everyone needs to learn how to sing.
That's right. It's your own private superpower, really. Everyone has that capability.
Mhm.
Everyone.
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 Thank you, Annie.
You're welcome.
This interview was really uplifting. I'm so excited. I just feel happy because we talked to each other and because we're singing, talking about singing.
Yay, me too.
Well, thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful to you and what you're putting together in this world at this time. Your positive energy and your talents, Belinda, are really needed right now. So
Thank
I
you.
thank you. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be heard as well. And um, I really just want to share what it is that we are all meant to do. And you've got a gift too, Belinda. So thank you
Thank you. Thank you, Annie.
so
We'll
much.
talk soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.